The Canadian Homeland Security Subcommittee on Emergency Management Technology will come to order. Without objection, the chair may declare a subcommittee recess at any point. The purpose of this hearing is to assess security, best practices, highlight challenges, and understand how the federal government, state government, local law enforcement, and the private sector coordinate with one another for mass gathering events. Without objection, the gentleman from California, Ms. Correa, and the gentlewoman from New Jersey, Ms. Ho, are permitted to sit on the dais and ask questions to the witnesses. I now recognize myself for an opening statement. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. Also, would like to take the time to thank the staff for their hard work on this hearing. Today, we'll discuss the important and timely topic of security preparedness and coordination for mass gathering events. By their very nature, these events draw large crowds in concentrated areas, making them attractive targets for malicious actors. Ensuring their safety requires complex coordination among federal, state, and local authorities, including law enforcement and emergency services. It also requires close collaboration with partners in the sports and entertainment industries. I witnessed the scale of these challenges firsthand when I led a congressional delegation to New Orleans to survey security preparation for the Super Bowl following the New Year's Eve attack on Bourbon Street. That incident and others like it serve as a stark reminder that terrorist threats persist and underscore our responsibility to safeguard such gatherings. These events will only continue to grow with prominence and frequency. In the year ahead, the United States will host several major international sporting events, including the 2025 FIFA Cup World Cup, the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and the 2028 Summer Olympics and Paralympics in Los Angeles. These events present enormous opportunities, delivering economic benefits while also showcasing our great nation on the international stage. But they also bring significant security challenges. Take the 2026 World Cup, for example. 76 matches will be played in 11 U.S. cities, with an estimated 6.5 million fans traveling to the United States. Not to mention, it will also be played in the midst of the celebration of America's 250th anniversary. To meet these unprecedented demands, DHS has convened an all-hands-on-deck approach to ensure they are safe and secure. CIS is working to secure critical infrastructure. The Office of Intelligence and Analysis is sharing threat information, and CBP and CIS carefully vetting and processing international travelers. I'm also proud of this committee's leadership in addressing this topic. 3 weeks ago, the committee passed its reconciliation recommendation, including $625 million in additional preparedness funding for the 2026 World Cup and $1 billion for the 2028 Olympics. To support these measures, I hope funds can be distributed as quickly and effectively as possible. Additionally, following President Trump's executive order convening a White House task force on the FIFA World Cup, this committee established its own bipartisan task force on enhancing security for special events in the United States. I applaud Vice Chairman McCall, who will be chairing the task force, and Chairman Green, their leadership on this issue. And I'm honored to have been selected to join this task force. Host today's hearing will offer valuable insight and inform future task force discussion. Many challenges must be addressed to improve security preparedness for these major events. As we discussed last month, unmanned aerial aircraft systems can act as a force multiplier for DHS mission. However, they can also be used for evil and unlawful purposes. You may remember in 2017, a drone dropped leaflets over 2 sporting stadiums in violation of temporary flight restrictions. It doesn't take very much to imagine to see how the same technology could have been used for a much deadlier purpose. And as for, I previously mentioned, New Orleans attack demonstrated the danger that vehicles pose to mass gatherings and the need to ensure effective countermeasures are in place. Additionally, the fan behavior of these events can be erratic and seen during the 2024 Copa America match when thousands of fans breach physical security barriers and overwhelm law enforcement. These examples reflect the importance of robust security planning to ensure events are conducted peacefully, that all spectators remain safe, and everyone has a good time. I'm thankful for the participation of our witnesses today and look forward to their perspective as well as what Congress and the federal government can do to support these events. Again, thank you all for being here, and I hope we can have a productive bipartisan discussion as we seek to improve security ahead of these mass gathering events. Now I recognize the ranking member of the subcommittee, Mr. Kennedy, for his opening statements.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see you all here today. This afternoon, I'd like to start on a somber note. I remember our colleague and good friend, Congressman Derek Kelly, who passed away earlier this morning. Jerry was a passionate public servant, a tireless champion for working families, a defender of democracy. His loss was certainly felt deeply in Congress and in Virginia's 11th district. He was actually one of the first members that I met when I came here to Washington, D.C. I believe he was the first member to stop by my office before I was sworn in last year to say hello. He welcomed me as a fellow Irishman and offered me a kindness that I'll never forget. We all knew him as a consummate gentleman and certainly a leader to get here from. So our thoughts are certainly with his wife, Kathy, her daughter, Caitlin, and the entire Kelly family on this difficult day. Now, we'll turn to today's emergency management and technology subcommittee hearing on mass gatherings. I want to thank all the witnesses for joining us here today. I also want to extend my gratitude to the staff for their efforts in making today's hearing come together. My thoughts, I believe all of our thoughts and concerns are with those in Kentucky, Missouri, Indiana, Virginia, and everyone who's impacted by tornadoes and storms that hit just over this past weekend. Nearly 30 lives were lost in the devastation. We know far too often natural disasters are continually posing significant threats to our nation, and we have to ensure that we are prepared as possible to respond to the moment. Shortly after the storm, it became clear that the local National Weather Service office in Kentucky is one of 4 offices nationwide without enough staff. National Weather Service offices, in part, are the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration offices as well. And those are the offices that provide critical tornado forecasting that is then translated into emergency alerts so that communities can prepare. The future of emergency management in this country is dependent on the kinds of investments we make in these missions and the staff to keep them running. So I'm certainly concerned that the President's budget request cuts to NOAA by at least 27%, and fear that this will only increase the level of devastation that we saw the past weekend when it comes to future emergencies. Additionally, we are days away from the start of hurricane season, and the chaos at the Federal Emergency Management Agency continues to hinder our ability to support communities. So from the responses to natural disasters, FEMA's preparedness and grants administration will direct impact on security of mass gatherings like the 2026 FIFA World Cup and the 2028 Olympics. And we know that mass gatherings don't happen in a vacuum. Having strong emergency management infrastructure that can respond could be essential to ensuring that the 2 premier once-in-a-generation sporting events that we're discussing today, among other mass gathering events, are as seamless as possible. In preparing for the mass gathering events, State and local first responders across the country are scaling up, and in some cases, like the two major events, the Olympics and the World Cup, these are historic visitations, record investments for the communities and states and potential high security risks. And the Department of Homeland Security's Office of Intelligence Analysis conducts the annual Homeland Threat Assessment. Its publication for 2025 warned the terrorism threat environment throughout our country remains high. Given this is critical, that the federal government make good on its promise to provide states and local communities with field preparedness grant funding so we're ready to respond and mitigate threats during separate federal events. Again, I'm concerned President Trump's budget proposes a $646 million cut to FEMA's non-disaster grant programs. Cuts like these severely undermine our ability to tackle threats, support our local law enforcement partners, and prepare for major events and mass gatherings. Now it's time to shore up the FEMA grant program like the Homeland Security Grant Program, which includes the State Homeland Security Program, the Urban Area Security Initiative, Operation Stone Guard. For hearing about the importance of these programs from our witnesses, as well as ways that we can continue to partner with each and every one of you, supporting law enforcement, supporting the private sector and federal agencies in a collective way, so that we can secure these mass gathering events and make them as safe as possible for those in attendance and those in the city. Again, thank you all for your service to our country, to your respective communities, and look forward to a conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ranking Member Kennedy. Other members of the subcommittee are reminded to vote, say and be submitted for the record. Very pleased to have such an important panel of witnesses before us today. I ask the witnesses please rise and raise their right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you will give for this committee of Homeland Security of the United States Representatives, House of Representatives, will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Please be seated. Let the record reflect all witnesses have answered the affirmative. I would like now to formally introduce the witnesses. Sheriff Donald Barnes is the sheriff, corner of Orange County Sheriff's Department. He has served Orange County for 35 years, having started in 1989. At the national level, he is the Major County Sheriff of America's Vice President for Homeland Security and also Sheriff of Intelligence Committee. Mr. John General is the Chief Security Officer at Live Nation Entertainment, where he leads their corporate security program that helps keep employees, guests, and artists safe. Prior to his work at Live Nation, Mr. General served as a special agent with the United States Secret Service, where he served as the agency's Presidential Protective Division. Mr. Jeremy Hammond is the Assistant Commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, where he plays a pivotal role in the nation's most high-profile collegiate sporting events, ensuring a seamless experience for fans, athletes, and stakeholders alike. Before joining the Southeastern Conference, Mr. Hammond held senior roles with organizations such as Ingress Events, WWE, and the Georgia Dome, developing deep expertise in event management, public safety, planning, and venue operation. Thank you, witnesses, again for being here today. I now recognize Sheriff Barnes for 5 minutes to summarize his opening statement.
Thank you, Chairman Strong and Ranking Member Kennedy, for holding today's hearing. Here today, representing the County Sheriffs of America, Professional Law Enforcement Association of largest sheriff's offices across the country. Our members serve more than 1/3 of the United States population. As Sheriff of Orange County, I lead agency more than 4,000 people, provide exceptional public safety services to the 3.1 million residents in Orange County. A major population center and popular tourist destination on the Southern California region, mass gathering events are at greater occurrence in our AOR. Nationwide, managing security of mass gathering events and addressing associated public safety impacts looks on the shoulders of sheriffs and our partners at city municipal police departments. Today's focus is on the once and generating events, the FIFA World Cup, Olympics, and other events that will be coming to our country. It's been 3 decades since our agency hosted these events so close to each other. The FIFA World Cup in 1994 and the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta were significant moments for our country. 3 years later, we will host these events in Southern California and a dozen other regions under a much more complex, rapidly evolving threat environment. We have great technology available to assist us with our security efforts. Risks associated with cyber attack are present. Our borders are more secure since the beginning of the year, but many of the nefarious actors who entered our country over the last 4 years remain in their locations or unknown. The event hosts visitors from all corners of the world, brings with attention from the multitude of conflicts occurring around the globe. We must also remember, we have no national security, homeland security without local law enforcement efforts. We can be successful in our goal of safe World Cup and Olympics if we use proven strategies and we are properly resourced to right next people and technology. Strategies that are most worthy of the committee's focus and include 1. Communication among board and partners. Sharing intelligence information across levels of government is critical. This type of communication can best occur through a network of fusion centers across our country. In Orange County, the Orange County Intelligence Center responds to culture protests, concern, conflicts in the Middle East. Fusion Center plays a central role in communicating intelligence to personnel on the ground, resulting in safe conclusion of this event. Continued and enhanced federal funding is essential to preparedness, provide support for strategic planning, and maintaining operational and situational awareness. The U.S. should get mission and operate its own guard by funding that supports intelligence sharing through fusion centers, its critical incident response capabilities, and creates federal and local partnerships to strengthen national security. Second, the use of the incident command system. The Orange County Sheriff's Department long use ICS and NIMS or right levels for emergency events, planning special events. It's a standardized protocol that creates command, control, communication, and coordination at all levels of government. It's an improved scalable model that can be applied to right public safety events, and my department is used in across our operational platform. Law enforcement and multiple jurisdictions need to be on the same page, particularly with regard to events like Olympic and World Cup. Also, adaptation by federal agencies to ensure better integration when they work with state and local agencies during the mass gathering events. Briefly, unmanned aerial systems will also be part of any security strategy. Drones are proven to be a successful and efficient tool for public safety and emergency response. We anticipate drone capabilities will be leveraged extensively to help the World Cup and Olympic sites. Congressional support through legislation like H.R. 1058, the Drone Act, co-sponsored by Representatives Ray and all can help. At the same time, the unauthorized misuse of drones represents a significant security concern for mass events and the public safety. Lawmakers establish a legal framework to provide wide-based, carefully regulated authority for locals to deploy and operate counter-UAS systems. This framework must be supported by funding, training, oversight, and transparency. And finally, after reporting resource impact on local law enforcement. The number of simultaneous events in multiple cities will put tremendous stress on resources around the country. The demand on offset costs, which has been provided during previous Olympics, will help us maintain operating associated with events while also fulfilling day-to-day law enforcement responsibility to our communities. I thank you for the opportunity here today and looking forward to questions.
Thank you, Sheriff Barnes. I now recognize Mr. Janelle for 5 minutes to summarize the opening statements. Mr. Janelle.
Chairman Strong, Ranking Member Kennedy, and other members of the subcommittee, Josh Hill, Chief Security Officer, Live Nation Entertainment. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today to discuss critical safety issues facing the law enforcement industry. 2024 marked an historic milestone for local music. Live Nation hosted more than 4,000 events, including 137 festivals, welcoming more than 151 million fans. In 2025 is already on track to surpass this benchmark, with more stadium shows scheduled than ever before, direct demand for both concerts and festivals. As the scaling of events grow, we know security measures need to enhance it well. I oversee the development and implementation of security protocols and lead efforts to collaborate with local and federal authorities to help keep fans, artists, and workers safe. Our commitment to safety is unwavering. We've continually advanced our protocols and technologies. The dedication that is the Safe Act designation award from DHS, but we recognize there are limits to what we can do, especially when it comes to the emerging threats posed by drones. As a private entity, we lack the authority to counter drone activity, and law enforcement up to lack necessary capabilities and authority to respond. This is why it's essential. The more events are covered by FAA-issued temporary flight restrictions to TFRs. And county UAS authority to expand to local law enforcement. You continue to go rapidly. FAA recently reported that more than 1 million drones are now registered in the U.S., a 160% increase since 2019. Given the rise in usage and high-profile drone-related incidents, expanding TFR authority is needed. With the context in mind, I'd like to highlight several areas where we believe Congress can take further action. We commit Congress to pass Section 935 of the FAA Reauthorization Act last year, which expands the FAA authority to issue drone-related TFR for certain large-scale events. The provision allows TFR coverage for stadium concerts with at least 30,000 attendees and festivals with at least 100,000. Live Nation supported this provision, but those more work must be done to mitigate the urban threats of live events. To maximize the impact of Section 935, it's essential that the FAA, state and local law enforcement agencies, and other stakeholders are fully aware of this authority and equity rules. Ultimately, success depends on the venue where local law enforcement reaching out to federal law enforcement agencies. Federal law enforcement's willingness to request the DFR and the FAA's readiness to approve it. Without coordination and follow-through, this new provision falls short of its intention to create more secure live events. Further recognition of this provision enhancement is needed, including a clear, prominent online process for submitting a DFR request for all live events, including concerts and festivals, and the addition of a dedicated submission form to streamline the process for law enforcement officials. Additionally, we ask Congress to consider lowering the current thresholds to ensure that more events can benefit from the protected coverage of TFR. Last year alone, we had more than 1,000 shows and then the capacity of 10,000. We ask Congress to lower the attendance threshold to 10,000 for events taking place outdoors. These proposed adjustments would significantly expand safety coverage for high-intensity events that are currently excluded, despite facing comparable security risks. We also urge Congress to build on progress made in last year's FAA bill by strengthening airspace protections to include not only unmanned aircraft systems, but also small manned aircrafts. We appreciate that Mike and the President's attention to this issue has received, and appreciate members recognizing these evolving threats. Finally, we urge Congress to grant mitigation authority to qualified local law enforcement agencies. When drone and restricted airspace, rapid response is critical, but federal authorities may not always be positioned to act quickly. Allowing trained local agencies to respond to federal guidance would significantly enhance real-time capabilities and strengthen the effectiveness of TFRs. Similarly, we appreciate the bipartisan attention to this issue and commend members for their efforts. On behalf of the Nation Entertainment, thank you all for your leadership in these important issues and look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, Mr. General. Now recognize Mr. Hammond of the Southeast Conference for 5 minutes to summarize his opening statement.
Thank you, Chairman Strong, Member Kennedy, and the honorable members of the subcommittee for the opportunity to participate today here. My name is Jeremy Hammond, and I have the honor of serving as 16 member institutions as Southeastern Conference Assistant Commissioner. In my role, I lead our efforts for school class championship events, including the SEC Football Championship, and I work with our member institutions to develop event management policies and procedures, including public safety best practices. I come to you today knowing as somebody who is involved in day-to-day management of public events, but as someone who's deeply invested in safeguarding the environments where friends and families come together to celebrate traditions, community, and competition. That's really what we all seek together. However, we cannot show those experiences without the assurance that we can enjoy them in safe, well-managed environments. Just as the rapid advancement of technology and weaponry has evolved global conflicts, the same can be said for the threats we protect against our favorite sporting event, concert, festival, or convention. The cities across the United States prepare to host the World Cup and the Olympics over the coming years. There is no group of professionals better positioned to prepare, to plan for, manage, and mitigate challenges than those we call friends and colleagues here in this country. The World Cup and the Olympics obviously are the two largest international events in existence. They present provocative and highly visible target for bad actors. However, my counterparts here today may agree large public events with high threat profiles produce free and society here in this country. When much metropolitan cities or small college towns, college athletics will expand week after week from kickoff in mid-August to last day of May. Chairman Strong from Alabama contested in the SEC, I say, just means more. During Saturdays in the fall, our campuses grow populations of mid-sized city. In 2024, 5 SEC schools averaged 100,000 fans in their venues at football games. Accounting for schools and other leagues, that number grows to 8 nationwide. It's also routine that campuses host 50 to 75,000 additional fans who take part in fanfare around the stadium, tailgating, and other activities. Nowhere else in the world do you see that kind of fans such consistency. If you follow college athletics, you know you love top 25 rankings. In the list of the largest venues by capacity, college football in America accounts for 8 of the top 10 globally. Yet rarely do any of these events register on the rating system higher than 4 or 5, meaning they have limited national importance to require federal interagency support. I'm just pause on that. The largest events that are hosted in this country on a consistent basis currently do not qualify for federal interagency support. Work with my colleagues at member institutions to identify emerging challenges to their operations. I'd like to share a few of those with you today. These topics fall in the category of what keeps you up at night. Vehicle mitigation. Campus environments are full of soft targets, tailgates, and e-marks around the stadium. That actor with the vehicle has become a hallmark of crowded times. Unfortunately, we saw that play out on January 1st in New Orleans as fans prepare to enjoy Super Bowl. As been mentioned multiple times today already, the U.S. or drone threat. Proliferation of drones and modern warfare has exacerbated that concern for that threat for stadiums across the country. As it stands, the schools can spend upwards of $500,000 on drone tracking technology. They have no legal authority to intervene or mitigate hostile drone. We're encouraged by different both Senate and the House to introduce legislation that will allow federal agencies to deputize local officials with the authority to mitigate drone threats, the proper training, and the access to the advanced technology. And finally, access to intelligence, staffing, equipment, and funding resources that modernize the safety posture of our events. In closing, put simply, deploy data is communication, transparency among agencies, and access to the appropriate resources. This estimated value the role of the federal government in supporting proposed efforts for large public gatherings. Please remember the schools, venues, promoters, and local officials hosting large gatherings on a nightly, weekly basis throughout the calendar year. Please consider reviewing the methodology of establishing a SIR rating. We're encouraged by the work of this committee and collaboration and communication of all this progress. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for your opening statement. We're honored to have you here and each of our people here for us. But if you're a cat, tiger, a dog, volunteer, you from War Eagle, Roll Tide, every one of our conferences definitely have a task to provide safety for America. Members, we recognize by order of seniority for the 5 minutes questioning. Additional round of questioning to be called after all members have been recognized. I now recognize myself for 5 minutes for questioning. I'd like to begin by asking each of you, starting with the Sheriff Farms, What can Congress and the federal government do to better support security preparedness at mass gathering events going forward?
Thank you, Congressman. First, the collaboration among federal partners, key fusion centers and fund drive them is necessary to maintain that. I wouldn't argue for increase. Counter U.S. capabilities is going to be imperative going forward as an G4. Currently, we can by taking an hour about the risk that we've experienced by drones in our different areas of responsibility. For example, in Orange County, we had individual flying drones within hundreds of feet from returning aircraft in John Wayne Airport, and one of the impacts of undoubtedly placed actually at risk and also passengers. Fortunately, that was the odd value of trains off of the prosecuted. We had no way to mitigate that drone or locate it. Found him on social media as he's posting his footage online, and we probably would not know that person was. We've had narcotic trafficking drones into our jails. We had to intervene with emergency response to wildland fires. And sadly, if you follow in recent news, cartels, foreign terrorist organizations using drone counter-drone technology against the United States. Cartels advance for local law enforcement capabilities. And we should anticipate that those technologies will make their way inside the United States and probably be a significant factor in any of the events that bad actors use these technologies against us for legal law enforcement overall efforts going into these items. And lastly, I would say that funding is critically operations system government shall do the federal government, Western border of the United States, would be impacted with maritime trafficking as a result of the lockdown of the border. All of those have significant issue. Integrated collaboration against those important. We all think the table would be operating on the same common operating platform. There's NSM or ACS. They should have fund roles and unified can working with the partners would have to make sure put all this in place. So they're ahead of planning date now. And they need to start that. Can't do these things a year from now, grow behind current and challenges and knowledge their plan.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Chairman. I agree with Jeff on intelligence sharing, fusion centers, collaboration, any supports to streamline the efforts would be greatly appreciated from the private sector as well as the government sector. But streamline particularly the response capabilities to UAS threats. If we streamline the process, understand who's eligible, lower the thresholds to where we can cover more events. Anything to do streamline the process is greatly appreciated amongst all the shareholders.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, I think two priorities from our perspective. One, reevaluation of the tier rating system, developing some additional consistency there in this practice. And as my counterpart here stated, streamline that process to allow local authorities to mitigate drone threat. I think those are the two most pressing issues among the public safety officials on campus.
As we prepare for high-profile events in summer, every weekend, you're involved in this. Is this essential that the federal government double down on planning and collaboration with state and local law enforcement?
With the trickle down, we already had a curve. The investments to take place now, and keep in mind all these things are happening. For example, you mentioned 11 locations, 7 events over a prolonged period of time. One other aspect we have to generate resources. We saw continuity operations still have to have one, but all our agencies do every job we're excited to do. So yeah, it needs to happen now. We need to get at it today.
Thank you, Mr. June. We've seen two conduct sporting events become the target of terrorist attacks. Can you describe the nation's role in working with law enforcement and hosting you to ensure adequate security for event attendees and artists and athletes?
Mr. Chairman, we work pretty closely with our law enforcement partners on a nationwide basis. Everything from the planning, communication, coordination, joint understanding of risk, shared situational awareness, heavily encourage co-location during the events, sharing intelligence, fusion centers, as the Sheriff mentioned earlier, the instant command system to make sure that we're all on the same page and able to plan for the foreseeable risk and be resilient to those risks that may not be foreseen.
Thank you. Now we can rank member for 5 minutes for any questions you may have.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Sheriff Barnes, thank you again for being here today. In testimony, you make the case for sustained federal investment in Homeland Security Fund, as you've mentioned already. That funding is critical, including $61 million through State Homeland Security Program, $156 million to Urban Area Security Initiative, and $2 million through Operation Storm Garden fiscal year 2024 in order to prepare for FIFA World Cup and the Olympics around the corner. Can you discuss how the threat prevention and response capabilities enabled by these FEMA programs help your community proactively prepare for these mass events, and separately how that funding in such a robust manner helps these programs in California and New York prepare for these upcoming miscarriages?
Yes, thank you, First, the funds that be provided to the three initiatives specifically are essentially maintaining our posture of the DU centers nationally. Our HIDA programs that turn fund that and has significant risk. Prince Songor, our mission will happen, but in the corner without those funds, this is what will happen. We have to step back from our posture and from that, so we have to get them more beneficial. National security initiative we've been taking over the last 24 years, 20 years since 2003, when it Operation Storm Garden stops. We don't tag our board and other initiatives. We have those funds. So without those funds, for example, I fund majority of my huge center asking taxpayer dollars to subsidize some of the program. But knowing California Regional Health Center is 100% funded through FEMA grant initiative happening. That means the program stops, and they have a major initiative happening throughout the FEMA World Cup. No intelligence, no vetting, no collaboration, no happen at that area. So taking a huge step back, keeping our nation safe. And so these are probably nothing about that. We have to left of bang numerous circumstances that keep our country safe. This is not a time to debate for programs.
Thank you very much. Sheriff, again, the critical part of preparing for these mass events is ensuring that first responders have what they need in the event of emergency. DHS programs train first responders so they can respond more efficiently and effectively. Probably, the Trump administration has closed the National Fire Academy in Maryland, one of the nation's premier training facilities for first responders. And his proposed budget would eliminate the National Domestic Preparedness Consortium. A group of 7 nationally recognized organizations provide training for FEMA first responders. So, Sheriff, this program is hosting several trainings in the Great Orange County area next month, dedicated to sports and evacuation of protective actions. As you prepare for the 2028 Olympics, how might these expert training help the first responder and law enforcement community in Orange County?
Again, I will tell you, though, I see how particularly with respect to being beneficial in our responsive platforms and protocols. American public never sees what we do behind the scenes. If we do, well, they never do see what we do behind the scenes because we've invested in these infrastructure planning and logistics and resource and training all happen in the shadows. But you can't step up or stand up a team to be responsive on the fly. It has to happen real-time. Multi-agency collaboration, which we routinely with partners in firefighting or other venues and platforms. So this investment be ready to respond. Hopefully they don't need to. It's also a huge investment in resources and personnel have to be on the ready, stand in and serve in response to these venues. And it's been the way of the case.
Thank you, Sheriff. And as you likely know, we have a Department of Homeland Security Secretary who stated that this administration's intent is to eliminate FEMA. Are you concerned about the impact that might have on Orange County that you represent and the state of California, as well as our responsiveness across the nation?
Yes, that is a great question. Obviously, I'm hypothesizing that if you start to take callbacks on investments would be Orange County, California, nationally, we're turning a corner and we're acting with inviting them to happen without our ability to be responsible for prior to that happening. So I would say this is not the time that we should back away in the investment. We need to maintain our posture of resilience across the nation.
Thanks, Chairman.
The ranking member yields back now, recognizes Jim of Colorado. Preparedness.
Thank you, Chairman Cameron. Thank you for all our witnesses for coming. As Chairman, I'd like to enter into record a statement from the Association of Uncrewed Vehicles National that includes some security recommendations from mass gathering events to empower law enforcement.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, thank you to witnesses. My first question to Mr. Barnes spent a combined total of a little 2 decades between both military and law enforcement. The arms that I was helicopter pilots operating in some airspace, as a lot of the new emerging ways threat that we're facing both overseas and also fighting fires and all the things we use in domestic operation space here in the United States. And then, as a police officer, I got to lead our mobile field force, and in that user level boot under individuals operating, having to make real-time decisions whenever we have either mass gathering events that were anticipated or if we have contingencies that emerge in mass gathering events. And so, my first question: do you think we've talked a little bit about fusion center and a lot of the pre-planning intelligence that comes out of facilities like that? Can you talk a little bit more about the tactical level? You've been pre-planning, the event is now in full swing. What are those critical shortcomings at the tactical level, specifically focusing on either equipment shortfalls, training shortfalls, communication shortfalls during an event that would potentially impact your ability to operate efficiently with other federal state partners?
Thank you for source. Your questions are going to look at preparedness, and from a tactical perspective, you mean mobile force. Mobile force should be national standard for crowd control and maintain order within our communities. We've heavily invested in mobile force in county Orange and all the municipal agencies in mobile force tactics and response protocols, and it worked very well for us. From tactics, first starts with intelligence. Get good information. There's this amount of information we should expect over the next. So you're sending good information and be responsive to that. There's huge amount of resources needed by government and reserved for a long period of time taking raise. There are resources like competition gains that are contended with them that have limited utility that have to replicate a much larger platform. So tactics, rapid response models, they're very key. They really have them ready to go out, but we just don't have depth, so I keep asking now ahead of time, make sure it's a national standard, we have critical supplies. I just have a long time for FEMA to have resource out in law enforcement. London, it's not as deep as it should be, but all the critical is we have to face on a broad risk environment that to be prepared for.
Thank you. Continuing on that training, a lot of federal training in places like Kansas and Alabama, so I'm sure we have that interoperability at the federal, state, and local level. What do you see as far as communication shortfalls with folks at your sheriff's office potentially having to work and collaborate in real time with folks from other agencies, particularly with regard to the communication equipment?
Well, thank you for the question again, Congressman. I'll start with Orange County Senate interoperable radio system for decades. 3.1 million people all along for aids communicate at the same time or a dedicated channel. That technology should be at least striving against nationally or minimally have federal partners in the same room on the same communications conduit, so sharing information in real time for them and everybody. That's not always in the case. It's so that in high school, in Volley, recently in Butler. We learned a lot of what we need to do to maybe solve the problem before we on the same communication platform.
Thank you. I got 1 minute and 5 seconds left, so final question will be Sheriff trying to answer the comments from others about UAS's DFR. So flying on wildfires versus the DFR, it's going to drop over the wildfire area. So Chris, like myself, and got to do our jobs, and you still have runs come through. You get shut down the fire DFR, down to the aircraft until you shake the drone out. On that again, tactical user level, what do you think are the most critical shortcomings to you to actually kinetically intervene in real time in the event that you have malicious drone activity occurring?
I'll start with AA reauthorization act or legislation that will give local law enforcement or public safety authority to have you look forward into FIFA. It's not a depth for county West County as this at national scale. It's a task force operator and locals that have dual investigation and training, technology, and access platform the most critical. You would have to policy fire to when those unofficial firefighting apparatus out of the sky because have been kept the drone for 3 days that contributed to law should be said. So we have 8 years, 2 years of on our doors that had to happen. Now I'm not I think we have the ability to spread out responsibly good quality and protocols and have it shared. We have to do now because the protocols already out of us are going to be almost testly on pair work. There's a mass drone tech, a mass web drone tech. We cannot respond to that very long, but the red horizon is much broader and it's basically beyond our capabilities we don't in the game today.
Thank you, Bill Becker.
Thank you. The member Colorado yields from Pennsylvania, Mr. Keys is recognized by Mr. Whiting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate everybody being here today to discuss such a serious topic about how we can protect our communities and individuals who are attending mass gatherings from terrorist attacks and other threats. My first question, I'd like to go to Mr. Janelle from Live Nation Entertainment. We're fortunate to have a venue that's being operated in coordination with Live Nation and our local community now. It's a mid-sized venue, I would characterize it. So could you please talk to what in particular you are doing for events like that, maybe not high-profile events, so World Cup or anything like that, but communities like mine hosting these events and gatherings on a regular basis. Tell me how we're doing at mid-sized events like that.
Yes, so regardless of the size of the event, the concern is the same. We want to make sure that we're prepared as can be. We're trained, facilitating all the intelligence sharing and everything else to our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners, and working highly in a collaborative process to make sure we have the standards, we have a clear picture of the issues that we're dealing with, understanding what our roles and responsibilities are, and then what our partners will bring to the table as well, so that we have that robust resilience around the event, regardless of the size.
Thank you. And for all of our testifiers, then obviously the attention of our country is going to shift next year to the America 250, World Cup, other big events like that are taking place all across the country. So for anybody on the panel, do you feel that we are prepared at this point, or is there more work needs to be done? And if so, is it resources training? What can be assisted from federal level and members of Congress?
I think we're working towards being prepared to those laying urban place and collaborations are especially on FIFA and also the Olympics. Club Cup is something next year. It's a different clientele to contribute to the FIFA World Cup. And they have to operate aside social norms of minds in America. They do the tweets, levels of intoxication, celebrations, fan bath, might be problematic. Yeah, we're in 20 days, but it's resources. Look at as cost and investment and the plan, their preparedness, logistics, training, tactics, the equipment. All of those things need to happen now. It'll be on the down to respond and keep our book safe.
Do you feel at this point in time that we're on track to be ready for this event?
I think we are in the planning stage, which for the Olympics, I think we're on track. I think there's been pre-planning Olympics with the Los Angeles City and County as advanced as we could have in Paris and others. The threat environment's changed and it's ever evolving, so we have to be dynamic. Though we can mitigating the threats as they change over time. They will change between 2028 and with the out of the curve, and so we are well planned and prepared to deliver the next, especially in areas separate. Should say separate advancing well-being and abilities, not economic demonstration, but stepping away from cyber at this time, putting this on shoulders of locals. We're going to have different responsibilities across the country and intervene response to cyber attacks, DDoS attacks, whatever it might be, that's going to change to traditional attacks like bot threats and swirling incidents, and then intentional attacks and normal crime that these attacks. All of this is a very complex solution that needs to be planned over a long period of time. It's not doing any one thing, doing 100 things simultaneously. It's going to do this in preparedness. That has started a long way to go.
Well, and I'd like to thank all of you, all law enforcement across the country, put themselves in harm's way every single day. We appreciate that work that you do, and the preparedness that we are looking for as a country. I think we are in many ways on track, and there are some things that we want to continue to work on. As you mentioned, we're involved in the nature of the threats change with time, so we got to continue to stay on top of this as we prepare for an incredible year next year and celebrate America's 250, and also welcome people from around the world. So, thank you again. With that, yield back.
Gentleman, Pennsylvania yields back. Now recognize the gentleman from California, Mr. Correa, for 5 minutes away.
Chairman General, thank you very much, and for our ranking members of the committee, thank you for this hearing. I want to welcome our witnesses today, Sheriff Barnes from Little County, Mr. Dale, Mr. Hannon. Sheriff Barnes, I'm turning to you first. Orange County vibe, Disneyland, necessary from the Olympics, the World Cup, the Angels. You got a lot of defense there. And so far, I think you've been the other guy that scored 0 on. Good job. How serious is the threat of international terrorism to you?
Congressman Correa, thank you very much, and I appreciate your partnership over the years. Not just international terror and terrorist organizations, CT, domestic terror, hunger extremes groups are ever present. Anything back to the Fusion Center, I have a Fusion Center committed Orange County Intelligence Census 79180 nationally, routinely recognized far broad internet strategies. All those things are happening in real time, not to say that things have mitigated, but the last 4 years, fortunately, the border have undoubtedly looked after in our country. Diving into the classified information, we know that we're looking for people coming who may be accelerating our plans because of actions immigration trying to locate them. It is a completely different horizon that we ever face. And so, yes, there are a lot
Sheriff, also, if I may interrupt you, you talk about the Fusion Center, and I had the opportunity to go tour it. That's the center where we take information from all sources, international, domestic, state, local, and you put that together and it gives you a picture of the threat environment. Is that correct?
Yes, I would say when Fusion Center set up post 9/11, they were focused on foreign terrorists abroad. They're all crimes all hazards now. Our Fusion Center is focused on domestic terrorism, bad actors, extremist groups, narcotic trafficking, sex trafficking, human trafficking. It's looking everything. And so,
and now you've got on top of that unmanned aerial, small aircraft, propaganda, misinformation, artificial intelligence. Those are top of the other things you're doing. That's if you just have to challenge.
Yes, Congressman. It is an all-inclusive investigation center, and for the benefit of not just the region, the state, the nation, provide operators, and sharing that information around communication times with the partner to make sure everybody will inform about the threat or how at all.
So we want to learn back for you, make sure everybody scores. What is it you would see from us? More funding, legislative action to give you more authority, for example, maybe to control, take down illegal drones?
Exactly, Congressman. Maintain the funding for the Fusion Centers through just Wall Street, Guard, and other bids funding. Positive, which the fund starts to think is not sufficient. Dealing with the worst time our nation's history, narcotics trafficking, says the direct the venues through users consuming products that are clandestine, reducing our fentanyl. And also technology. Technology needs to keep up with time, and we are paying defense. I don't believe in the office. So given the technology that we can intervene forward if things do happen, we can OAS or other ranges need to prepare for them.
You mentioned earlier that you would want us to triple down on federal funding for your Fusion Center. Is that correct?
I think you need to go away, but there's opportunity to invest larger. If we lose those on Fusion Center, going to take a significant hit on some of the all-crime, all-hazard systems, not just for counties across the nation.
So you're speaking for the nation as a whole when you talk about funding, Fusion Center, coordination of the federal government, all these resources that you need, other sheriffs across the country need to keep America safe.
Not just sheriffs. If you look at the Fusion Center network as operators, any major city chief operates inside of a major county definition. All the venues that are happening in major counties or major cities that are represented and supported by the Fusion Center network, especially for the Field Club and Club. The connectivity and sharing of real-time information among the venue, which you did elections recently, has to happen in real time as threats present themselves. Because luckily we replicated and others as acts try to bring this country down in harm.
Sheriff, I want to thank you for your time, for your efforts in being here from Mr. Myers, about the needs that we have on Main Street. Makes us our policymakers. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon again. Thank you very much.
The gentleman from California yields back, and they'll recognize the gentle lady from New Jersey, Ms. Poe, for 5 minutes of waiting.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Chairman. It's wonderful to be back on the committee. Thank you. And thank you to our ranking member, Kennedy, for holding this meeting. I'd like to begin by certainly indicating that gatherings are unique opportunities to connect with others and feel like we are part of something bigger than ourselves. Especially after the pandemic, there has been a renewed appreciation for the value of a sold-out ball game or concert. FIFA World Cup will bring together hundreds of thousands of fans. It is a time for friendship and celebration, and I am so proud that the final match will be played in my district in New Jersey. I was recently named co-chair of a new bipartisan task force focused on enhancing security for special events like the World Cup, and I look forward to Chairman calling our first official meeting and beginning our work. With that being said, I'd like to begin by questioning and indicate that, as my district is up to send ratchets up for security preparation for the World Cup, our first responders and municipalities need resources to date plan for next year. I am deeply concerned by the Trump administration's illegal holding or otherwise delaying critical FEMA and anti-terror grants. These delays seriously undermine the ability of state and local government to protect our communities and ensure that large sporting events like the World Cup are safe and secure. Last week, I pressed Secretary Nome on when our community will receive guidance on a Homeland Security grant program. Unfortunately, she did not give me an answer. So, Sheriff Barnes, how do delays in critical grant funding like the State Homeland Security Grant Program or the Urban Area Security Initiative impact your department's ability to keep communities safe, especially as they prepare high-profile events like the World Cup that I just mentioned?
Yes, thank you for the question. First is match and anything we do, you fail to plan, you plan fails. Planning everything, preparedness goes into many facets of equipment, tactics, training, tools, people out exercises, redeeming the events that we make sure they're dealing with our adversaries. All very critical. That plan needs to start today. Regarding the FIFA World Cups, we have, and I love partnerships we have with private sector representatives here, but a lot of the response protocols are beyond the venue itself. There's practice ice, hotels, other things, areas that go beyond contemporaneous actual event. It's still lower local and diverse communities, maybe those beyond your congressional district that need to be protected in the plan because that's all those take resources. Funding is essential. If we didn't have the offset, this is a plan event is qualified from future aid plans, so we need no reimbursement unless it's financed or fund upfront for the ability to recover costs and planning that need to take. So in my opinion, the date, but it makes one of the
I can't agree with you more. Thank you so very much for your answer. I'd also would want to speak out the homegrown violent extremism, terrorists that raise on events like the World Cup, that brings together different communities. That is why our New Jersey Office of Homeland Security identified attacks from these groups as the highest threat to New Jersey. Earlier this year, I traveled to New Orleans with the chairman and with some of our other colleagues here to learn about the devastating attack on urban street carried out by Homeland extremists. During this trip, we heard from local law enforcement about the threat our nation faces from homegrown terrorism at highly attempted events. Sheriff, what are the unique threats posed by the homegrown extremists and domestic terrorist mass gatherings, events, and how are you working to combat these threats?
They you mentioned several of those red vehicle camps. Most spontaneous actors that are out on the grid, we've been known to either federal or locals. Those spontaneous bad actors are involving friends that we're seeing. So these people bring in out of hate, or any press. Open source information is pertinent to under place at critical role. Oftentimes prior events that we see immediately prior to posting or something happen. Open source information like social media. Going back after an element revigorate this something based on the campaign works well. So that's also people who do have information that individuals can need by the potential law enforcement. But all of this, first and foremost, the protection for human rights. People who decide to take strict and respond to their actions, but always focused on constitutional start. Or as I say, first, have to prepare and then across until legal activities keep our nation safe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now you're back.
Gentlewoman, you side, and I recognize the gentlelady from Texas, Ms. Johnson, for 5 minutes of question.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. It's time for conversation Steve Dess. I'm very interested in the FIFA World Cup. And this will bring millions of dollars of revenue for small businesses and surrounding communities and millions of new visitors to the North Texas area and from around the world. We're thrilled to be hosting 9 matches, and which is the largest amount of matches in the country. We're also the broadcast hub for the FIFA World Cup. And so it's going to become not only a unique, it's a sustained security need that we have, because we're going to have media professionals throughout the world and see for a prolonged period of time, not just the unique timelines of the matches themselves. I was thrilled to have the opportunity to travel with you, Mr. Chairman, to New Orleans, and some of my colleagues with me in advance of the Super Bowl. And we saw an immense amount of planning that goes into these events to keep attendance safe. Meanwhile, Secretary of President Trump are expected to propose significant cuts to FEMA preparedness plans, and funding is critical for major event security. Proposed budget also eliminates the National Domestic Preparedness Program, which has trained thousands of emergency response teams. Just my district alone, they have trained almost 12,000 participants. These programs not only train our local responders at no cost to them overseas, but also partner with the Center for Domestic Preparedness, FEMA, and other governmental agencies. We do not have adequate funding to keep these programs afloat. We will not have a workforce to keep the public safe. By cutting funding to these programs, this administration is setting our cities up for failure and putting the lives of attendees and our security personnel at risk. The World Cup is anticipated to bring more than 6 million visitors from around the world in a time where cybersecurity workforce is significantly understaffed and cyber attacks are on the rise. Illegal freezes on funding and TSA agents are being terminated, and we need to take a serious look at how prepared we actually are as 1 year before the event takes place. I look forward to working alongside my colleagues who ensure every step of the way. And Mr. Chairman, I'm just really concerned that this Congress right now, this while having hearings fabulous, we need to focus on the security of our country. We want to have a successful Olympics. We want to have a successful World Cup. We have the chance to see up close and personal just how much goes into the planning of the Super Bowl. It was an enlightening experience to see just the effort, the expense, and coordination that's required among so many agencies. And while we're shutting that and talking about it, which is fabulous, on the other hand, this very building, the rules debate in our capital, having a budget that's all funding for it. So how can we do that? How can we get all the funding and still say we are prioritizing security? So, gentlemen, my question for you is, what potential threats do you see, and do you have enough resources? Do you think that we have allocated enough resources for this country, the visitors to come here to be safe when they come forward?
Congresswoman, there's the World Cup, the Super Bowl, a large festival, or a smaller festival. We all share the same concerns. What's concerning at this moment is the threat persists from U.S., and at this time, threshold is too high. The authority to act upon threats are very limited, and we just need a streamlined process to help facilitate the protection that's hard.
I want to ask you about that. So if you're hearing, or actually when we were in New Orleans, one of the things that was brought up to us was the lack of local law enforcement's ability to actually deal with their own. So had to go through this crazy red tape in order to take down a potential threat. Is that still the case? Is that been corrected? Or are you aware of efforts on the table to correct that?
So the FAA reauthorization was a step in the right direction, but it is implemented consistently across all the different funds, and have the ability to work with venues, so work with our law enforcement partners to be able to successfully apply for a CFR challenge, and then whether or not the resources are available from the agencies, and then whether or not FAA approves. It's how your process that really needs some attention to streamline and make more consistent across all the U.S.
Do you feel as a nation, you see lots of stuff, I can only imagine, and you see some things besides drones, and besides this lack of coordination between agencies to give the men on the ground the ability to deal with immediate threat. Besides that issue, what other security threats are you concerned with, in particular to these large-scale events that are coming up?
Of course, it's homegrown violent extremism, it's terrorism, it's just crime in general. Managing our trials, it's all the things that my colleagues spoke about today, and making sure that we have coordinated, collaborated plans in partnership with all our stakeholders to include federal, state, and local partnerships, and we're all singing from the same music with planning operations and response.
Yes, and at the same time, we're being for members of the audience, and we're going to make our country less safe. My time's expired, and thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I yield back.
I want to yield back. I think Sheriff Barnes, Mr. Udell, and Mr. Hammond for the backup testimony. The members for their questions. The members of the subcommittee may have some additional questions for witnesses, and we would ask the witnesses to respond to these in writing. Pursuant to Committee Rule 7D, the hearing record will be held open for 10 days. Without objection, the subcommittee stands adjourned.